high-profile NBA stars held a conference call earlier this week to form a united front in an attempt to finish the season. Chris Paul, Durant, LeBron, Kawhi, Giannis, Steph, Westbrook, and Lillard were all on the call. But according to our friend Chris Haynes, James Harden was not involved in the call, which could go back to what Brian Windhorst reported in February, that NBA stars don't like Harden. So, Shannon, do you have a problem with Harden being left off of this call?
I do, because James Harden is a superstar. He's equal to, if not better than, some of the guys that we mentioned. Now, we know what LeBron represents. We know what Steph Curry and KD, we know what they represent. But James Harden is an MVP. He's an all-NBA player. He's gone to several All-Star games. He's led this league in scoring. He's going to lead the league in scoring again. Skip, I don't know any reason why he wouldn't be on that call. And I understand that Chris Paul is the union president. But this is not about like or dislike. This is about getting the best players and forming a united front. And sometimes, people let pettiness, I don't like that guy. But it's hard to deny that James Harden is not a superstar. And James Harden should have been on that call. Whether you like or dislike him, Skip, it's not like y'all in a room together. It's a conference call or it's Zoom. And you mean to tell me you, out of courtesy, you can't, like with James, look, we having this call about, big guys, names, 10, 12 guys. And we'd like for you to jump on the call with Adam Silver, and I'm sure Michelle Roberts was on the other end, who's the president, the head of the Players Association. I'm sure she was on the other end to jump on this call with us. Skip, this is BS. I mean, look, I get it. Everybody's not going to like everybody. But in a situation like this is not the time about like or dislike. Because James Harden, I believe, should have had an opinion, and he should have been on that call.
Okay, I hear you. I'm not sure whether he was left off or if he wanted off because he feels alienated by most of the other stars. Maybe he feels like he doesn't want to even share a Zoom with Chris Paul because he fell apart with Chris Paul, obviously, as his teammate in Houston. So, look, James Harden is difficult, and I do believe he's rubbed a lot of the other stars the wrong way. And yet, to your point, obviously, you would like his input on whether with you or against you, on whether they're going to go back or not go back. Maybe he thought, well, Russ is on the call. He's my guy. He's my teammate, and he'll speak for me and for us, the Rockets. So it's possible that the Rockets were just going to be represented by Russell Westbrook. But in the end, I think it has to do with bad blood. I agree with you on that. Yeah. And yet, in the end, the reason I wanted so badly to see this season get finished, and maybe we still have a chance to watch it finish, is the best thing that ever happened to James Harden is Russell Westbrook. The best move Daryl Morey ever made was to acquire Russell Westbrook, to get him out of Oklahoma City, down to Houston. Obviously, CP3 is making miracles in Oklahoma City so far. That's been the story of the year so far on a lower level. But they've been phenomenal. Yeah. They've been way better than I thought they were going to be. So it is the classic trade that benefited both teams. But James Harden needed somebody there that he loves and trusts. And he and Russell basically grew up together out here in Southern California playing AAU ball together. And they have a weird connection in which they'll defer to each other. I've never seen anything like it because I thought Russ would never defer to another human, but he will to James, and James vice versa to Russ. They have this bond of love and trust that neither has ever had with another player. So it seems to me to be working in Houston in ways it never would have worked with Chris Paul, because Chris Paul's like, what? Nah, brah. There's no way. I'm not doing that, and I'm not going to let you do that. And that's James Harden. We know he's going to shoot it like crazy. We know that he's a product of a softer NBA today, in which, obviously, the refs protect James Harden, and they call a lot of phantom touch fouls where I'm like, that wasn't a foul. And he leads the league by far in attempts, and obviously he can make his free throws. Way to go, James.
And three-point attempts.
The point is, and three-point. You got it. I'm with you. But in the end, he's got the perfect situation because he finally has a co-star he believes in, and he will defer to him. And I think Russell is rubbing off on James because Russell obviously on guts, competitive desire, almost like plays with a rage. It's rubbing off on James. So I think James is like, okay, you got it, Russ. You do the Zoom call. You speak for me. You be my proxy there because I don't want to associate with those guys anymore. I'm happy here in Houston. I'll just do what I do, and they can do whatever they want to do.
Well, Skip, if the invitation was extended and he chose not to be on the call, that's one thing. But if there was an invitation extended, therein lies where I have the problem because I believe James Harden is a superstar, and he should have been on the call with the other 10, 12, or however many guys that it was on the call. So if he was extended and chose not to, say, well, Russ is there, and I can just get the information from Russ, okay, fine. But if he was extended an invitation, there's where I have the problem because I believe James Harden is a superstar, and he should be afforded. Skip, it's hard for me to believe that every superstar, like every other superstar in the NBA, this is not unique. This has been going on since the beginning of time. I'm sure every superstar didn't like Magic, or every superstar didn't like Bird, or Mike.
No.
But there was hard for me to believe, Skip, that during the time, even though they didn't like Isaiah would have been on the call if there was a strike or there's something that's happened in the 80s. It's hard for me to see a scenario that Isaiah Thomas would have been on that call. I could be wrong, but I think he would have at least been on the call.
No. He would have been, Shannon, because even though a lot of them didn't like Isaiah Thomas, they respected his wisdom on and off the court.
Yeah.
He had brains and savvy and perspective on what was going on. I think everybody wanted to hear what Isaiah had to say about the biggest issues facing the NBA. Definitely would have been on the call. In this case, I don't know if anybody really respects James' view of the world, his opinions about league matters. He's never taken a lot of stands or stances that I'm aware of. So, look, has he been ostracized as an MVP? Yeah, he probably has. and yet, I think he's as guilty as they are because I think he's like, hell with all of you. I don't need to be part of this anyway. So is it the end of the world? No. But at least Russell stood up for James on the conference call. And in the end, I hope James, I hope it's not a boycott on James's part. I hope he's not one who's saying, I don't want to go back. It's not safe. It seems like there's a groundswell right now of momentum that it seems like all these superstars do want to safely go back as soon as possible. It seems like we've got momentum to actually have a completion of the NBA season.
And plus, Skip, look, I want to get paid. I want to get all my money. I don't want to get a third of it. I don't want to get a fourth of it. I want all my money. I mean, some of these guys making $40 million a year, $35 million a year. Skip, I need that. And so, I understand that some can withstand this, but Skip, just like average Americans are hurting, they need their paychecks, they want to get back to work. You don't think these basketball players want that money? Of course. I don't care if you made $150 or $200 million, Skip. I want the rest of my 35 that I'm due. And the only way that I'm going to be able to get all that, because I don't know if they're paying them all, is to go back and play.
Well, I hear you. And let me congratulate our man, Chris Haynes. Great reporting job.
Yeah, good stuff from Chris there.
So don't be
all right, guys.
Don't you be trying to have anything without me, Skip Bayless. I better be on the call. I tell you that. Try to have something without me on the call and see what happens.
Oh, seriously, Shannon, you're going to add yourself into the mix. Actually, listen to me here, Shannon, because your former teammate, Ray Lewis, he's weighing in on Michael Jordan's leadership style. And I just don't know how you're going to handle this one. Skip and Shannon debate next.